So, Dusti Stark, I live in Texas, and actually, foster care has touched my family since before I was born. My dad was actually adopted, and then the trials my parents faced ended up with my brother and I moving in and out with friends and different family members, but were primarily raised with our grandparents. And so, a kinship kind of situation. And then later, my younger sister ended up born 11 years after I was born. And so she ended up going into a non-relative care situation because my grandparents already caring for their second set of children, and then they had been aging, had some different medical things that kind of got in the way, and felt like it would be a better situation for my sister. And so she was able to be adopted by actually her first foster placement. So, in a nutshell, not only in my own experience, but since all of that has happened, I really think it's important. I guess if I was to give a message today, it would be a lot of times our pain is our platform. And without that, I don't think I would have the same empathy for broken families, a lot of the stigma around foster care and adoption. And I've been on the end of being the child that needed the care to being the child visiting a sister at DHS to then later becoming a foster adopt parent. I'm a counselor. I've written books on these things. So I feel like everything that I'm about now is really kind of because of that significant pain through childhood that's given me a heart for walking with broken families, supporting all aspects, because it's not just the child or just the parent or the grandparent, it's everyone in the community that's impacted by that type of pain in families. And so it's so important to me now to kind of step into the light to spread that message. And so I've actually, over the past few years, done these things that I never thought I would do, like pageantry to, now I'm acting and modeling. I have a nonprofit, Fostering Bridges, here in East Texas. I actually was born and raised in Oregon and was on fire for foster care. And so we've had numerous children through our home. I've adopted or gained guardianship of 6 through foster care that are my forevers. But I think too, the need is so significant in East Texas now where we live. Why we opened our nonprofit is because over 60% of youth entering foster care are being sent out of county. So that's not just losing their families, but now their schools, their doctors, all these other things. And so that's very meaningful to me to get involved to see how can we connect not just family together with visits and all of that, but also all these other resources that are their network.
Wow,
Numerous
that's
books, but
incredible.
I'll just say this is one that is Legacy of Love is Fostering Children is the first kind of book I feel like was an act of obedience. So it's a lot of my story really. And then from there, going on to encourage others with the Faces of Foster Care. There's actually a whole series at this point with numerous authors. You can see every book has numerous, it's anthology. And so people are sharing their own testimonies, but really also advocating for those because I've studied trauma. That's my specialty ultimately is working with children and families. And so, one, I wrote on foster care and broken families, but God, because everything I do is really a faith-based perspective, because that's really been my well. I can give people a drink of water, but ultimately that's the well that I draw from and always point back to. And then I also have a chapter on the lie of the chaotic brain to write your own story, because I think there's a lot of lies in the world around if you've experienced brokenness and that you're damaged, and there's all these things that our body is amazing and resilient, and I think there needs to be more focus on how do we take those experiences and apply them. And so that's really what I'm about, is inspiring people, encouraging people to live their fullest and to be able to take those experiences because they didn't just happen to harm you, but because they're giving you a purpose, and so I feel very clear about mine, and that is to inspire and to encourage people to be able to navigate that pain. And one of my favorite quotes is to shine so bright that your light will lead others out of the darkness. And so my practice being extending grace, counseling, and consulting is really that, to help people to see that, yes, those things, they have to integrate them and they have to understand process, and it can also be their superpower. .com. So it's DUSTISTARK.com. And our nonprofit is fosteringbridges.com. So just like it sounds. And I do have also an agent through Gray Models and Talent. And so I just booked Margaritaville Resort, my little brag moment. So I'm super excited. I just had a big commercial that I was able to shoot, but I'm fairly new in the acting modeling world. So I'm just kind of getting my name out there. I did through pageantry get the Mrs. Texas title through the USA Ambassador pageant this year. So I just got back from nationals. I brought four of my girls with me to nationals in Orlando. So making memories, right? Giving them confidence, all the things, pageantries, sisterhood. So never thought I'd be in this avenue, but women lifting women is absolutely something I'm about. So I actually started a Ladies Without Limits coaching program, and I also have a Facebook page with Ladies Without Limits if people just want to come for inspiration, encouragement.